Right now on News 3, a rare and sometimes deadly polio-like illness is now confirmed in southern Wisconsin.
And celebrating the end of a worldwide event born right here in Madison.
This is News 3 at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. A rare syndrome with polio-like symptoms is becoming more common in the country, most often seen in children.
It can start like the cold or flu, but end up in paralysis and even in rare cases, death. Now, 2 cases have been confirmed in Wisconsin. Our Madeline O'Neill tells us what you should know. Maddie?
Eric and Charlotte, along with those 2 confirmed patients, health officials are investigating 6 possible cases of acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM, in the state. While there's a lot we don't know about the emerging disease, area doctors say there are steps you can be taking to protect yourself and your kids.
There's only like 1 case in a million.
Acute flaccid myelitis may be rare, but it's serious.
Some people recover quickly. Some people have paralysis for the rest of their life. And there has been 1 confirmed case of a death, and that was in a child.
Family physician Diana Flint at SSM Dean Clinic has never personally encountered a case of AFM, a disease characterized by spinal inflammation that she says mostly affects children. Now that the Center for Disease Control is seeing an increase in cases since AFM first popped up in 2014, Flint wants parents to be aware of the symptoms, which start out like the cold or flu for about a week, and then include muscle weakness, facial drooping, and balance issues.
The Center for Disease Control has been keeping track of it, trying to figure out what the cause is, and they are not entirely sure.
The CDC is reporting 62 cases across the country so far this year, and the Wisconsin Department of Health Services has confirmed 2 cases in the state, 1 child and 1 adult.
This is an emerging condition. We're still trying to learn a lot about it.
Surveillance and Investigation Unit Supervisor Ryan Wozniak says they're investigating 6 more potential cases in the state and trying to determine any number of the disease's causes.
Viruses, environmental toxins, could be genetic components as well.
Wozniak says it's not clear if the disease is contagious, but since it could be connected to viruses, he recommends the usual hand washing and good hygiene. Flint has a suggestion for parents as well.
To prevent this, we recommend highly that you get vaccinated, especially for all cold and flu. The more you can prepare against getting the enterovirus itself is the better protection against getting this disease as well.
Though the disease, it seems similar to polio, health officials say that the 2 are not related. There is no specific treatment for AFM, but doctors can try to target the disease's neurological side effects. State health services officials tell us they're not expecting a large number of cases in Wisconsin, but it is something they're keeping a close eye on.
Madeline O'Neill joining us in studio tonight. Maddie, thank you.
An update now to last night's breaking news. Madison police say they are looking for 2 suspects connected to the shooting at an apartment building on Hammersley Road last night. Officers say when they got there around 9 o'clock, they found a 30-year-old man with a serious gunshot wound to his torso. He is expected to survive. Investigators believe the shooting was motivated by a robbery.
President Trump approves Wisconsin's flood disaster declaration, ordering federal assistance to help in the state and local recovery efforts. It's in response to the historic flooding and storms in August and September. The funding is now available in several counties: Dane, Sauk, Juneau, Monroe, Richland, and Vernon counties locally. Other counties are still under review, and that list includes Adams, Columbia, Dodge, and Jefferson counties. Assistance can include grants for temporary housing and home repairs and low-cost loans to cover uninsured property losses. Let's get a look at our first alert forecast now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolfi. Gary?
After a nice day today, once we warmed up, we'll look for the possibility for some showers by early tomorrow morning. Next, we take a look at Doppler track. A few light showers already starting to develop over parts of western and southwestern Minnesota into far western Iowa. These will reach us either late tonight or more likely during the morning hours tomorrow. It was rather chilly this morning. Here in Madison, we dropped to 27 degrees. Many locations were in the 20s. Black River Falls in west central Wisconsin was down to 18, but their high was 64. So you can see just how rapidly the temperature has warmed up today. Here in Madison, Madison, we went up over 30 degrees to a high of 58 degrees. Temperatures are mainly in the 50s to our east and lower 60s to our west. And current temperatures are still fairly mild in the middle 40s to the lower 50s. By tomorrow morning, we'll be in the middle 40s with the possibility for some showers, at least during the morning hours, and it'll turn partly sunny later in the afternoon. Our high temperature will top out at 57 degrees. That's a look at your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Some start times are changing at schools in the Madison Metropolitan School District next year.
While all middle schools involved in this plan will move to a later start time, some elementary schools will start later and some will start earlier. District leaders say based on research, kids need more sleep during their middle school years. When this plan goes into effect next year, all 7:35 a.m. start times for middle schools will be shifted to an 8:40 start time. As a result, some of the late start elementary schools will shift to an earlier start time to make room for middle school bus routes. To find out how your child's school is affected, click on the link on our website, channel3000.com.
The sequel to the popular Making a Murderer documentary series is set to premiere tomorrow on Netflix. The first series told the story of Stephen Avery and his nephew Brendan Dassey, who were convicted in the 2005 slaying of Wisconsin freelance photographer Teresa Halbach. The two are serving life sentences now. The sequel, Making a Murderer 2, will follow their appeals. The candidates for governor will go face-to-face tomorrow, their first debate ahead of the election. You can watch the debate between incumbent Governor Scott Walker and challenger Tony Evers right here on Channel 3. Starts tomorrow night at 8, and our political reporter Jessica Arp will be part of the panel in the debate, sponsored by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
We are nearing the end of a Science-a-thon. It is a week-long celebration of science, especially diversity in science. Amy Reed met with scientists at UW-Madison to see how they celebrate.
This event, which is now worldwide, was born right here in Madison at UW. Today, the founder of Science-a-thon brought in high schoolers from Sun Prairie to show us why the event matters. The girls got to see a couple branches of the Atmospheric Sciences Department. They even got to go on the roof and look at satellites. Most importantly, these future scientists got to make connections in the industry and ask them anything they wanted. This is not a normal part of Science-a-thon, but after the girls went home, the founder, UW professor Tracy Holloway, said it might be a part they'll add in the years to come.
Having an opportunity to talk about these issues in an open way really, I think, is good for the students, and it means a lot to me personally.
Science-a-thon started last year and got more than 200 scientists to participate. It's normally online, mostly on Twitter. Scientists from all over post hour by hour what their day is like. They use the hashtag Day of Science. This is an effort to get people to understand what a scientist actually does. Last year, they were so popular, they actually got this hashtag trending.
What a great program. Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you. The Wisconsin man who founded the Little Free Library Project has died. A spokeswoman for the Little Free Library says Todd Bull died today from complications of pancreatic cancer. He was 62 years old. The first Little Free Library was put up outside his Hudson home in 2009 in memory of his mom. The boxes are now in more than 80 countries.
People on the near west side are seeing the inside of the new Midtown Police Station for the first time tonight. The station's been open since early September. Tonight's open house is an opportunity for community members to take a look inside. The station's opening also marks the creation of the Midtown Police District.
No one's going to trust anybody unless you have a relationship and you build that trust. And this is one of those steps that we try to share our space, get to know the people, they get to know us, and then there's much more trust involved.
And according to authorities, most of the changes will be internal and residents will receive the same police service they have always had. Still ahead tonight at 10, a News 3 exclusive.
How a local veteran says a single text helped him through one of the most difficult times in his life. Stay with us.
Welcome back. What if help was just a text message away? The Center for Suicide Awareness out of Kaukauna is celebrating its 2-year text line anniversary.
They have saved nearly 100 lives, and there are now 1,500 trained crisis response workers throughout the state of Wisconsin. Jamie Perez spoke to one survivor who says texting saved his life and is helping to save many others.
It is so sad to hear the statistics. We all need to do better in the works of suicide prevention. Keep up the great work. You're making a difference. Thanks for all the work you do and support our veterans and our people that are in crisis. If there is anyone out there that would know this, it sounds like the Hope Line can help.
Help through the power of words. Words so thoughtfully strung together through letters, something people don't usually do anymore.
Their names, you see their signatures. It's you read their hurt and their pain, and yet also you read their hopes, and they're still wishing you well, even in their grief.
Their grief. These letters are written from people who found words to be difficult at one point. People who were actively suicidal, but lived because of this.
You text the word Hope Line to 741-741 and then send. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take away from your minute plan, which is important. So it really is truly a free service.
A 24/7 emotional support crisis text line, founded by Barb Bigalki herself.
If we could save one person's life, mission accomplished.
They've well surpassed their goal of one life saved. Founded in 2014 and just celebrating their anniversary 1 week ago, they've saved almost 100 lives to this day.
I remember just literally my hand shaking when I signed on that dotted line to say I was going to do this. There is not only a sense of pride, but it's like the sense of, you know what, this is exactly why I signed on that dotted line.
The Hope Line is advertised through many forms: cell phones, guitar picks, beer glasses. That last one has its own story.
In one of the taverns that has one of our Hope Line beer glasses, and they basically said that night they were going to kill themselves, but they saw the beer glass. The bartender was talking about how people care and you can text this line and you don't need to struggle alone. And they taped the note and said, you know what, I didn't kill myself last night.
So why texting? Why does this method work?
Of the people that were either attempting suicide or died by suicide were texting. But what they were doing is they were texting their friends.
But sometimes we need more than that. Mike Crum is the perfect example of why.
You know, a lot of people tend to be like, oh, everything's going to be all right and you'll get through this. But sometimes you need to dig deeper than that.
A Marine Corps veteran who needed those words with somebody who's unbiased, somebody who's unattached.
Somebody that I don't know.
He's somebody who had difficulty finding the right words.
You don't have to lie to anybody. I think sometimes we tend to lie to ourselves. So in that moment, there was nobody to lie. There's nobody to lie to. There's nobody to give a false sense of everything's okay. So in that moment, I was like, okay, I need to be truthful with myself. And
a truth that turned those words into a continuous conversation.
Through texting, all of that stigma and those barriers are kind of taken away.
The stigma that asking for help is a last resort. But Mike knows.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You don't have to be suicidal to use the text line. Maybe you're just someone who's high risk, trying to get through the next day, trying to find the right words to say. Regardless of why you use it.
We know that it works.
The words that worked.
Yeah, whether you're 10 years old or 60 years old or a veteran or, you know, LGBTQ or whatnot, we've got a myriad of different ages, races, populations to text in and say, I need help.
Those 3 words that turn into a lot more words for so many others like Mike.
Thank you for being a blessing to me and the students of today. I have no doubt you have saved lives in this auditorium. If we can talk about all things in an uncomfortable way, we can prevent suicide.
In Kaukauna.
You're wonderful mentors. We all need to take notice.
Jamie Perez.
The Hope Line is an essential piece of resource for preventing suicide. Thank you again.
WISC News 3.
The Center for Suicide Awareness is looking to expand its operations.
And officials at the center told Jamie it will be opening a location in Madison in the near future.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now with a look at our forecast.
Actually, it turned out to be a nice day today. It started out chilly, but we warmed up nicely. Tomorrow will be about the same temperature. Then after that, temperatures turn cooler again for the weekend. Let's start out, first of all, by taking a look at the time lapse from the Platteville Queen Bee Radio Skycam. This is looking off in an easterly direction. You can see just how clear the skies were today. Beautiful sunrise. Try to find the clouds here. You don't see any through the entire day today, and this takes us till about 5:45 this evening, with the sun getting close to setting in the west, and there wasn't a cloud to be found. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, still clear out there. Temperatures are still on the mild side. We did start out at 27. The high temperature made it up to 58. Yesterday, our low temperature was normal, and the high temperature was about 10 degrees below normal. Today, it's just the opposite. It's the low temperature that's below normal, and the high temperature is exactly where it should be. Right now, we're at 51. Winds are still out of the southwest at 6 miles per hour, and that will keep our temperatures up into the middle 40s overnight. Now, the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, which takes us into the very beginning part of November, calling for below normal temperatures through much of the eastern half of the country, with the highest probabilities from southern Wisconsin southward, and the precipitation outlook calling for above normal precipitation, a 50% chance or greater chance of that happening through the eastern portion of the country. We're at about a 45% chance of above normal precipitation. Looking forward to the month of November, above normal temperatures expected from coast to coast, with the highest probabilities centered out in the western part of the country. Precipitation chances will be highest through the southern and eastern portions of the country, and below normal precipitation expected in the Pacific Northwest. This will continue through much of the winter. The Climate Prediction Center just came out with their winter outlook for the months of what we call meteorological winter, the full months of December, January, and February, calling for above normal temperatures through much of the northern and western portions of the country, with the highest probabilities in the Pacific Northwest, equal chances of above or below normal temperatures in the southeastern part of the country. When it comes to precipitation, there's that above normal temperature or precipitation trend from Texas through the southeastern portion of the country, and below normal precipitation expected from Wisconsin eastward and also over parts of Montana, very typical with what you would find in El Nino weather pattern, and that's what we're expecting for the upcoming winter. High temperatures today, 50s near Lake Michigan, around 60 in the central part of the state, 60s out west, and then notice farther to the west, temperatures are in the 70s over much of Minnesota. Right now, it's 58 degrees in Superior, it's 51 in Madison, so it's warmest in the northwestern part of the country, but you can see the west to east flow in the jet stream continuing to keep moisture to our south as the main branch of the jet stream stays right over us, and that brings in drier Pacific air and actually pretty comfortable air at that. Let's check out our forecast for the overnight hours. Skies will gradually become mostly cloudy, it'll be milder. Chance of a shower by morning, low temperature dropping to 43. Tomorrow's high at 57. It'll be cloudy with a chance of showers in the morning, maybe a little clearing later on in the afternoon, and kind of breezy during the day. As we look at future track overnight, look for the clouds to come in by tomorrow morning, just a slight chance of a shower. Low temperatures in the lower 40s. Best chances of showers tomorrow morning. By afternoon, skies start to clear, at least in the western part of the state, highs in the upper 50s. Quiet for tomorrow night, but look what happens on Saturday morning. Some showers come through, and they can be mixed with a few flakes of snow before they come to an end. And even when the skies clear out, temperatures will stay well below normal. Precipitation amounts just a couple 100ths of an inch, so that's good news. 7 to 10-day forecast, though, chilly temperatures for the weekend, highs in the 40s for the weekend. Then as we head into next week, high temperatures mainly between about 50 and 55. Shower chances a little bit more toward the end of next week, maybe mixing with some flakes of snow over the weekend.
Just what we want to hear, Gary.
Yeah.
Just what we want to hear.
Thanks.
Just a few. Just a few. Thank you.
You're
welcome. Well, if the Brewers are going to force a Game 7, they are going to have to start scoring some runs. Love that story. Coming up in sports.
The Brewers are facing an elimination game tomorrow in Game 6 of the National League Championship Series. It's at Miller Park tomorrow night with first pitch at 7:39. The Dodgers will start left-hander Hyun-Jin Ryu, and the Brewers go with left-hander Wade Miley. Now, pitching hasn't been the Brewers' problem the last couple of games in Los Angeles. It's been the hitting. Christian Yelich has gone cold, and Lorenzo Cain hasn't been much better. They've been so effective all season long. Now they're hoping to get the magic back starting tomorrow.
We got to go up there, fight, battle, take every at bat like it's our last, because it could be. So we got to be ready to go.
You win Game 6, anything happens Game 7. So one at a time, no room for error. I mean, we have to win Friday to have a shot Saturday, so we'll start on Friday.
The Badgers' secondary is pretty banged up heading into Saturday's homecoming game against Illinois at 11 a.m. at Camp Randall. On the injury report today, Dakota Dixon, Fionn Hicks, Scott Nelson, and Reggie Pearson are all questionable for the game. Now, Paul Chryst's team trying to move on from its 38-13 loss at Michigan last Saturday. The Badgers bounced back pretty well from their earlier loss to BYU, so you have to figure they know the routine to get back on track against the Fighting Illini Saturday.
That's what's awesome about sports, is the responses. Those are the lessons. That's the takeaways. And I have liked the way the guys have responded this week, and now we get to go out and play. And when you play, you still have to execute, and you still have to make plays, regardless of what happened before.
Congratulations to Madison Memorial's Michael Harris. He's been named the Green Bay Packers High School Football Coach of the Week. He led Memorial to the Big 8 Conference title in his first year as the Spartans head coach. Part of the Coach of the Week award is a $2,000 donation to the Memorial football program. Big Ten women's soccer tonight, second place Wisconsin hosts fourth place Nebraska. Coming up, the only goal of the game. Wisconsin's Lauren Rice gets her 7th of the season on an assist by Victoria Pickett. Big win for the Badgers. Final score, Wisconsin 1 and Nebraska 0. The WIA State Girls Team Tennis Tournament begins tomorrow at Nielsen Tennis Stadium. Madison Memorial plays Eau Claire Memorial in Division I quarterfinal at 5:30. Edgewood in the Division II semifinals at 9 a.m. Saturday morning against University School of Milwaukee. Tonight, the girls volleyball tournament continues. Division I, Stoughton visits Winona Grove. Second set, Stoughton's Lydia Newbuell finds a gap in the Vikings defense. Eagles up 20-16, but Stoughton fights back. Megan Adams to Veronica Ewald. She finds the corner for the kill. This one goes the distance, 5 sets. And the final score is Winona Grove 3 and Stoughton 2. And in McFarland, the #1 seeded Spartans host Wisconsin Dells in a Division II matchup. First set, Spartans look to set it up, but Wisconsin Dells' Brooke Hartley with the dig. She gets the bump kill. And the Chiefs have the early lead, but McFarland is the #1 seed for a reason. Claire Johnson to Izzy Grassel for the kill off the block. And the final score is McFarland 3, Wisconsin Dells 0. And we'll be right back.
Next 7 days, temperatures upper 50s for tomorrow, but only in the 40s for the weekend. Near normal temperatures for next week, and then some rain toward the end of the week.
All right, and yeah, the flurries, just a few flakes.
Just a couple.
Made clear to. All right, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.